If you're a Chicago Bears fan, this should, I think, it should have at least crossed your mind, right? I'm not saying you should be dwelling on it. I'm not saying that you should be thinking about it every waking moment and feeling like it's a real possibility for you. But you got to ask yourself about this right here. Should the Bears really be seriously pursuing signing this man, the greatest quarterback, in my opinion, who has ever lived? Tom Brady is a free agent. It appears to me that the Patriots are non-committal to whether or not they're going to deal with him. I mean, for the next year, I shouldn't say deal with him. You don't deal with Tom Brady. Tom Brady on your team is a privilege to have him on your team. He's 42 years old still, but still plays at a high level. I think most people who are being objective would say that yes, he has shown a bit of fall off, but he is still a magnificent player, I think. And I do appreciate the condolences, Jordan, and I also appreciate you watching. But yes, Tom Brady is still a high level quarterback, and I think, come on, I don't think we have to say he would definitely represent an upgrade over Mitch Trubisky. And I know I get a lot of flack here so far on my show about bashing Trubisky, but I'm not. I don't even think I'm bashing him. I think I'm just being real. I think I'm being very realistic about what he is, who he is, and what he's brought to this team. And there's obviously room for improvement. There's room for upgrade. I think Tom Brady represents that. Um, Obviously, if you go after Tom Brady, you're not going after a long-term solution. In my opinion, what you're doing is you're trying to take advantage of a potential championship window because you have a championship level defense, which I 100% believe that that's what the Bears have. I believe they have a championship level defense. Um, and it's a shame if you have such an important aspect of a team in place and the entire journey is being held back because you are inept in another place. Now, and I hear it. I've heard it whenever this conversation has been had. Matt Nagy's style and system doesn't fit Tom Brady. I totally get that. But this is Tom Brady. Okay? This is Tom Brady. This is not freaking Nick Foles or this is this is not even Phillip Rivers, which is another guy who's free, but I wouldn't necessarily advise. This is Tom Brady. And there is a certain level of football IQ, presence, leadership, the whole nine that is included with Tom Brady. You could even bring Tom Brady in for 2 years, allow him to play till he's 45 years old or what have you, and say, okay, Tom, how about this? How about you're the starter and you are going to mentor Mitchell Trubisky? We're going to keep Trubisky on and we're going to tell him, look, bro, you're going to learn from Tom Brady. If Tom gets hurt, obviously you are the guy. And we want you to study under the greatest. And if obviously he may not want to accept that he's been a starter since he's been in the league, whatever, you then might have to go and get a different backup because if he's disgruntled, he wants to be traded, whatever. But I think while this is a out of the box kind of concept, and I know this is a really, especially for football, right? We don't see generally radical moves like this made in the NFL. But like I said, this is Tom Brady. And the Bears have a championship level defense. So when you have an extraordinary situation and an extraordinary opportunity, which is what I would call a chance to acquire Tom Brady, you sometimes may do something extraordinary. And I think that that's what that would be. Now, I'm not saying they should put all their eggs in this basket, but I do believe that at least making a phone call, if it hasn't been made yet, reaching out to Brady, his representation or whatever, and just getting a gauge on what his interest would be. If he is interested, what would it take to take the conversation to the next level? Is there some willingness at all for him to deal with a different type of system? Obviously, we're not running read options and that kind of crap with Tom Brady. We're not, and I'm not mean to call it crap like it doesn't work, but you're not running that kind of offense with him. You have to talk to Matt Nagy, say, hey, how do you feel? This is Tom Brady. You know, do you have a game plan that you can adapt and say, hey, no, we're going to call plays this way. We got a different personnel in there. Is that what we're going to do? I mean, to be honest, are we really looking at much different of a play calling system for Tom Brady than what we had for Chase Daniel last year when he played? Chase Daniel wasn't running around like Mitch Trubisky when he was on the field. So I think to feel or to act as if Matt Nagy would be completely incapable of calling plays for a immobile quarterback is, and I'm not calling Chase totally immobile, but I think that it's a little bit, kind of crazy to assume that that's just the way that would be. I use this analogy a lot. I watched Brian Billick, who was the offensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings at one point, have this high-powered offense of Randall Cunningham, Chris Carter, Randy Moss. I believe Jake Reed was there at the time. Robert Smith was the running back. I mean, they just scored a ton of points. They were a fantastic offense. Felt like they were unstoppable. He gets the head coaching job with the Baltimore Ravens, and guess what? He looks and says, okay, we don't have the same personnel. Trent Dilfer's my quarterback. I think Cal Bowler was the quarterback at first. He got hurt and it ended up being Trent Dilfer. We have a dominant, elite defense with Ray Lewis and company, and we have a big, nasty offensive line and a big, nasty running back in Jamal Lewis. Guess what? I'm going to adapt the way I call plays for the personnel that I have, and we're going to win a Super Bowl. And that's what happened. And I think that the best head coaches wrap their game plans around the personnel as opposed to vice versa. And if you talked about acquiring somebody like Tom Brady to go and play for Matt Nagy, that is essentially what you'd have to do. And as I said, I'm not saying you put all your eggs in your one basket and say, hey, we got to go get Tom Brady. It's TB or bust. I'm saying reach out. I'm saying make the phone call. I'm saying gauge the interest, because you do not get a chance to acquire the greatest quarterback that ever lived, whether he's 42 or not, every day. That opportunity just is not always there. And you owe it to yourself as a franchise. You owe it to your fan base, and you owe it to the other players on that team, both on both sides of the ball, to look into this option because of how much of an upgrade it could be. I mean, think about it. This is the oldest franchise in the NFL having Tom Brady on their team. The Bears already get tremendous coverage throughout the league, and they're, even when they're not that good. Imagine what that looks like. I don't know if the Monday night schedule is out yet, but Tom Brady's playing for the Bears. I'm willing to bet they got 4 or 5 prime time spots during the 2020 season. So I'm just wondering, that's just where I'm at with that.
Pocket, I'll be weak. I'm rather unique.